Hello everyone, it's Hector Wong, Hector just narrates again. I will make a pretty complete video about how am I using my LEDs because you should all be a member of the African Violet Society of Canada, or maybe you can just buy their magazine called Chatter. Their January-February issue will have one of my write-outs about how am I using LEDs. So here we go. Let me just start from the basic setup. Here, my bottom two shelves on my plant stand are the standard setup for African violets. You know, shelves at 10 to 15 inches apart, the height. Normally, the shelves are 4 feet wide by 18 inches deep, how you see it here. And the standard replacement will be to use, instead of 2 fluorescent tubes per shelf, you would use 4 LED strips type of the size 50-50, LED strip size 5050. Okay, you only see 2 here instead of 4 because 2 here instead of 4 because on the back of my shelf I do not have any plants. I'm using the back of my shelves to store baking equipment. Okay. Sometimes I use the back of the shelves, which again does not have any LEDs above it, to root leaves. Okay, so with 4 of these LED 50-50s, 4 strips, you will be able to cover standard plant stand. These are cool white. Okay. On the bottom here it's red because I'm testing the same LEDs 50-50s, but they're red. The conclusions are I don't have anything to report yet. As you can see, I'm testing different lengths. One thing I noticed that with red LED, which red is encourages plants to bloom, is that for my leaf propagation as well as chimera sucking, there's an incredible amount of suckers coming when I'm using plain red. Same as leaves. I don't know if you can see this leaf here since our little cup. Look at the amazing amount of baby plants. Okay, so again, replace your 2 fluorescent tubes with 4 LEDs 50-50s, size 50-50. You only see 2 here instead of 4 because on the back of my shelves I do not have any plants. Now let me show you some results of some plants. What do they look like? Minis, you know, compact, flat, even, nice symmetry. Okay. I move my standard plants, you know, every day I'm moving. Okay, that is setup number 2. Setup number 1. Setup number 2. Right here, my top shelves are at 7 or 8 inches between each shelf. And the LEDs that I'm using are called size 35-28. I have 5 strips of 35-28 for the front half of my shelf. If you want to cover the entire depth of the shelf, you will need to have 10 strips. These are LEDs 35-28, which are smaller LEDs. But what I like about these 35-28 is that they are extremely cool. They don't produce any heat. You can have your plant really this close, and it's a great way to save space. Okay, with 5 or 10, 5 for half shelf of 10 for the full shelf, your plants really grow really well. Look at them. They're all horizontal, compact. You know, some require more light than this. And I just raise the plant closer But otherwise, with this shelf, I do have only a clearance of, I think, 4 or 5 inches. Okay, I have minis here, and you know, they're just fantastic. Some minis need more light, some minis need less light, so it is just normal behavior. So that is a fairly short shelf, 8 inches, and with 5 LEDs of size 35-28. If you're going to use only the front half of your shelf, you're going to use a full length, which I don't because I'm storing baking equipment on the back. You will need 10 strips. Okay. You cannot use 50-50 strips at this short height because it will be too strong of a light and it will burn the plants. You know, it's a stronger light, but it is a less diffuse light. Actually, everybody says that the difference between the LED 50-50 and LED 35-28 is 3 times. Okay, so that's a rule of thumb. One strip of 50-50, it's 3 times bigger than a strip of 35-28. So do your math. Alright, now on the second shelf of my narrow shelves, I only have 3 strips instead of 5. So 6 instead of 10 if you use a full length. The reason why is because there are some violets that need low light. And on this shelf, my low light violets such as Keiyoki and Emily Savage and Tommy Lou are growing just perfectly flat. Okay, so this is setup number 2. Now I'm going to take you to setup number 3 and put your seatbelts on because